All right. Let's get back to the podcast and let's discuss whether the D-backs should enter the excuse me, I had a little bit of a burp there. Very disgusting. Let's discuss whether the D-backs should enter the Shohei Ohtani sweepstakes. So, what do you guys think as D-backs fans? Should the D-backs enter the Ohtani sweepstakes? You guys could hit me up on Twitter at CareerThomas24 or at Locked on Diamondbacks to give me your insight, because I'm curious to what you guys think about entering the Ohtani sweepstakes, because I'm going to make a case as to why it should be a resounding yes. The D-backs enter the sweepstakes depending on the price. Depending on the price is the big cliffhanger in that sentence. I don't know what I want to say there. I feel like there's a certain word I should say there, but depending on the price is the big hiccup in that sentence. I don't know what I'm trying to say there, but I think the D-backs should enter the sweepstakes depending on the price, because I think you should always enter sweepstakes for superstar players. I'll get into that more later, but the D-backs currently, if they want to pull off an Ohtani trade, they definitely have the pieces to do it, because the D-backs currently have the 5th best farm system according to Major League Baseball.com in all of baseball. They have 3 top 13 prospects. Guess what? They're the only ones in Major League Baseball that could say that. So the D-backs are absolutely loaded when it comes to top 100 prospect. When it just comes to a deep farm system, the D-backs have the players to put together to package to get Shohei Ohtani. And I think there is a price I'd be willing to meet. At the same time, like I said, the D-backs are not a ready-made team right now. And I believe if a team was to acquire Shohei Ohtani, the move should either make them a contender or put them over the top. And I think the right package given up by the D-backs doesn't turn them into an instant contender, right? I think the right package given up by the D-backs could make them a contender a season away. They could be a season away from being contender. That's why I believe they should go after Shohei Ohtani. The team isn't ready-made for a championship right now or World Series, but if you acquire Shohei Ohtani, then I believe the D-backs could be a season away. Some teams would be instant contenders, World Series favorites if they acquire Shohei Ohtani. Some teams, it'll just be the move that puts them over the top, like if the Padres, like when the Padres acquired Juan Soto. Like if the Padres were healthy the whole season, they were already going to be, a team that can make it to the World Series, and acquiring Juan Soto just puts them over the top. But a team like the D-backs acquiring Shohei Ohtani doesn't put us over the top. I think it could put us a season away. Again, depending on the package, because if you give up your whole farm system, then you're going to be more than a season away. But what is that package that I would be willing to give up for Shohei Ohtani? Someone that is going to finish top 3, top 4 in Cy Young voting, top 3, top 4 in MVP voting, someone that could get you 30-30 home runs and stolen bases, someone that could pitch a 9-inning gem with 10 strikeouts and 2 walks. Like, the man can do everything, and I would be willing to give up a lot for Shohei Ohtani, but I would not be willing to give up the farm. And the package I would be willing to give up, I will give up one of these 3 players, one of our 13 top prospects, from Jordan Lawler, Drew Jones, or Corbin Carroll. I'll say, Angels, guess what? Pick one of the prospects. And maybe I should say the reason why I'm having this conversation is because the Angels announced today that their owner is willing to explore selling the team. I wish the D-backs owner would do the same, because guess what? When you get a new owner, you get new money. Look at the New York Mets, arguably the poorest team in baseball before Stephen Cohen, because Bernie Madoff ran off with all their money. They had to start borrowing from the league, and they were piss poor, and they weren't able to afford any big-time players for a very long time. They sell the team. Stephen Cohen comes in, and now all of a sudden, the New York Mets look like the best team in baseball with stars up and down their lineup. And the D-backs, same could be said if they sell their team, but that is a different tangent for a different day. But the Angels look like they could be willing to sell their team, and that's why I'm all in on the Ohtani sweepstakes. And if I was to trade for him, like I said, you could have one of our top 13 prospects from Jordan Lawler, Drew Jones, or Corbin Carroll. Plus, you could have another 2 top 5 to 15 prospects. So, like, you could have a Drew Jameson and a Ryan Nelson, and you could have another prospect in their 20s. So, like, a Seth B or a GB Briskakis, any of those guys from the Zach Greinke trade. So, I'm giving up about 4 prospects in total, and I'm also willing to give up a major league ready player like a Josh Rojas or Alec Thomas. So in total, you're getting like a Rojas or a Thomas, plus like a Corbin Carroll or a Drew Jones, plus another Brandon Pfaadt and Ryan Nelson, and you're also getting like a Seth Beer, like I think that would be a pretty fat package. If you're the Angels, you're definitely rebuilding. You're definitely getting guys and pieces in your lineup that could be future stars, that could fill in the shoes of a Mike Trout after he retires. And if you're the D-backs, like that might sound like a lot. Like you could let me know, D-backs fans on Twitter, if you think that sounds like a lot. Do you think it would take 2 of the top 13 prospects? I don't know. But if I can only give up 1 of the top 13 prospects for Shohei Ohtani, I'm definitely doing that, because you can't forget about the value that Shohei Ohtani brings back to your team. Because Ohtani, he's going to be the number 2 pitcher for the D-backs behind Zach Gallen, who is the ace of the staff. With Merrill Kelly as your number 3, your rotation, your top 3 locked up. That looks like a solid playoff rotation from your top 3. You just need to round out the rest and maybe bring back like a Zach Davies and a Tommy Henry. I'm not even thinking about Madison Bumgarner, not even factoring him into this equation. And then not just from the rotation, don't forget about Ohtani, the position player, because think about this. This could still be the lineup you have if you do that package and bring in Ohtani. You could still have Marte, Christian Walker, Dalton Varsho, Kelly, and 2 of the 3 from Lawler, Jones, and Carroll. Like, imagine this is your lineup. You're starting Corbin Carroll, then Jordan Lawler, then Ketel Marte, then Ohtani, then Dalton Varsho, then Christian Walker, then Carson Kelly, Emmanuel Rivera, and Alec Thomas. That is an elite lineup. And guess what? That might not even be the best lineup that you can make, because you can also do Varsho, Lawler, Marte, Drew Jones, Ohtani, Walker, Rivera, Kelly, and Rojas. Like, the possibilities are endless. And as long as I keep 2 of the top 13 prospects, like I'm still adding 2 stars to my lineup, plus a Shohei Ohtani. I think the package would be worth it. I think the D-backs lineup would be nasty. And for the first time in Ohtani's career, he would have a complimentary ace in the rotation as well. And when you look at the front office, at that point, all they would need to focus on is just the bullpen. Mike Hazen, your job would become so much easier if you acquire Shohei Ohtani, because he literally fills in 2 spots in your roster. And I think the lineup would be set. Like, even if the D-backs don't acquire Shohei Ohtani, I think the D-backs lineup would be set in 3 to 4 years. Once Drew Jones is promoted with Lawler and Corbin Carroll, like the D-backs, I think, are going to have one of the best lineups in baseball, despite whether they have Ohtani or not. If they have Ohtani in the lineup, I think it just puts the D-backs lineup over the edge a little bit more. Plus, you add him as a pitcher to that rotation. You really just got to focus on your bullpen at that point. And also, I also just want to give Ketel Marte a running mate as well. Like, Ketel Marte, he had Paul Goldschmidt for a little bit, but Ketel Marte really wasn't the Ketel Marte that we see now. So I think Ketel Marte would benefit from having another star in the lineup, not just all the pitchers focusing in on him in the lineup. I think it would be better protection for Marte in the lineup if he's batting 3rd, and then you got like Ohtani 4th or something like that. So I would love to see that 1-2 combination. Get someone on Ketel Marte's timeline, because most of the lineup is going to be pretty young. That roster would be pretty young with Shohei Ohtani, but Ketel Marte right there on the Ohtani timeline. So I absolutely love it if the D-backs could enter the Ohtani sweepstakes. But once again, it just depends on the package.